What is up, everybody? Hello, hi, and welcome to the channel. On today's movie review, we are reviewing the brand new, just released, The Haunting of Sharon Tate. A much controversy talked about film, and I have some words to say about this one. Stay tuned. The Haunting of Sharon Tate tells the story of pregnant with the rector's Roman Polanski's child and awaiting his return from Europe. 26-year-old Hollywood actress Sharon Tate becomes plagued by visions of her intimate death. Every so often in films, it seems like we go through sort of a period of certain type of films. So we'll have our vampire movies, we'll have our werewolves and evil witches. It just seems like now the main factor that we're kind of going through is true crime. And if you looked at a lot of releases lately, it seems like it's sort of the big hot button, factor that film goers love to kind of watch and they love to create. And already we've had a string of, movies dedicated to Charles Manson before, as well as we're going to have, I think, 2, maybe 3 more Charles Manson type movies coming out this year, if not next year. So it becomes a hot button issue, especially when you're dealing with Sharon Tate. And anything revolving around Charles Manson is obviously going to be a little bit more controversy. And this one is no stranger to that. So first up, I have to say Hilary Duff stars as Sharon Tate in this film, as well as she is one of the executive producers on this movie. Not quite sure why, but we'll dive into that a little bit later on. So let's get to what is good about The Haunting of Sharon Tate. Well, it's a movie. It's shot like a movie. And there's some brutal, violent scenes in it. I mean, when it gets to the killing part, it's pretty brutal. It's a little hard to watch. And I give them at least credit for going there. But that's about it. Oh, also, Jonathan Bennett is an actual actor. And I'm a little surprised by that because I only know this guy from Food Network shows where he's the host, like Cake Wars or Pumpkin Wars or some of those other kind of like competition kind of shows. I didn't even know he was an actor until this movie when he came on the screen. I was like, that's him? Okay, I didn't know he acted. That was a surprise. But with that being said, let's get to what is bad. I have to talk about the elephant in the room. If you're not aware of what this story is or what it's based upon, it's a true life crime that happened, and it involves Charles Manson. Some of the members of his cult family invaded this house and basically killed everyone in it. And it just comes off as very, tasteless and very cheap in a way of trying to kind of profit off of this true crime of the poor young lady of Sharon Tate and all the rest of the victims in this movie. It doesn't really do a great job as far as directing and writing. Daniel Ferrandis, who's actually done a good bit of horror documentaries out there that were really good, like the Jason one, the Freddy one. He did another Jason one, and he did the Scream one. More so documentaries, he's got that, obviously patted down, but filming wise, he's not that great because there's nothing really interesting in this movie. Even the nightmare sequences are just okay. And Hilary Duff, she does an okay job as playing Sharon Tate. Nothing fantastic. And the rest of the characters, you kind of forget their names. You don't care too much about them, and you really kind of don't care too much about Sharon Tate in this film. She kind of comes off unlikable in majority of this movie. And I'm sure she probably wasn't that way. And even if she kind of was, it comes off, in a very poorly done way for you to not like the main character who's going to be brutally murdered in just a couple days. There's another movie called Wolves at the Door, which is based upon this same very subject, and it's dealing with the home invasion, except for they don't make it truly known. They don't put Sharon Tate's name, in the title or on the poster. You can kind of just watch that movie as a basic home invasion movie done in the late 60s. And it's okay for that. Once it gets to the tense parts of that, it's far better than this film. So I highly recommend that. And also, and this might be a spoiler alert for anybody out there, if you didn't already know, Quentin Tarantino's new film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's actually going to deal with a little bit of this stuff. I'm not quite sure the extent, if it's half of the movie or just a little bit. But it is going to feature Charles Manson, Sharon Tate, some of the cult members who were responsible for that night of killings, and also some of the members who were not. So that's why that trailer was a little off-putting, and it was kind of funny and fun, and it kind of pulls you in, but I'm sure it's going to have a sort of turn in there where it gets very, very dark very fast. In case you didn't know that, sorry, that might have been a spoiler alert. But I just wanted to point out this IMDb review I came across. Great movie, 10 out of 10. This movie is awesome. People are hating on it because they like boring movies like The English Patient. Not quite sure why those two don't have anything to do with each other. One is a drama, and this one is sort of a horror thriller home invasion type movie. I don't know. I don't get how anybody can give this movie a 10 out of 10. It was very boring. I mean, the nightmare stuff was okay at best. It was kind of creepy when it got to that. The brutality of the kills, and knowing that this was based on a true crime, and knowing that this really did happen to this poor young lady, it was really hard to watch those scenes. And it's just not that great of a movie. For this to be based upon Sharon Tate's kind of last few days, it's kind of just poorly made up, and it's just not a good film overall. Very sorry to say that. I wish it would have been a little more thought-provoking. I would have wished that it showed a little more human side of Sharon Tate, as opposed to making her a more dislikable character. And the rest of the characters in here are kind of forgettable. And once it gets to the murders, that's pretty much the end of the movie. Yeah, it's kind of a shame. That's it. That's my review for The Haunting of Sharon Tate. If you've seen it, it's brand new. It just came out just a couple days ago. So if you've seen it, let me know what you think. Leave it down in the comment section as well. Leave this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys on another review very, very soon. I'm Chris.